Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. The Manga Man here. We're talking today about Black Clover chapter 276. As always, this is based on fan scanlation, so please take every assumption with a pinch of salt and please support the official release. I will leave a link to my subreddit, so feel free to check that out. I do post these video links on there, as well as the links to the websites where I read my scanlations. So without further ado, let's get into this review. Black Clover chapter 276. Before we get into it, please try to watch the video to the end. I would greatly appreciate that, and like, comment and share and subscribe if possible. So, what happens in this chapter? To summarize, the chapter is pretty straightforward. We basically get a fight between Zenon and Yuno with the support of Langris. Essentially, Zenon has bone magic and spatial magic, and Yuno is using his wind magic with the help of Bell, as well as Langris to counter the spatial magic so he can get through his guard. That's pretty much what this focuses on. We don't see anything else. We don't know what's going on with Meliliona. We don't see anything to happen with the disciples or Vanica or Zenon or Dante or Asta. So it is purely focused on this. Will it continue till the end of this fight? I don't know. Will it switch to the other fights? We'll have to wait and see. So the chapter starts off essentially from where the last chapter ended, where contact is made. And the first thing Zenon basically said is, "How have you survived?" To which the response is, "Through our captain's magic, we'll come back for him, but after we beat you." To put it nicely. We then kind of see maybe an internal dialogue of how Yuno has assessed the fight and picked up the tendencies and weaknesses of Zenon, and he starts explaining the way the magic works. So he explains that his original magic, the bone magic, is used particularly for defense, and it's called absolute defense, with them being really tough and hard to get any physical attacks through, and having obscene high level of regeneration. At this point, we also get to see Langris in action. He's his usual self, saying because he was away, Zenon was able to get away with things, and he uses his spatial abilities, and he's got an ability called Archangel Shootdown. This is obviously countered by Zenon, who then basically uses his spatial magic, the devil ability, the artificial ability, and it's called Absolute Space. We also get an explanation of how this works. Essentially what we are told is, using spatial magic, Zenon dominates the essential space, making it absolute to him only, and nobody else basically can work within that. So it's very difficult to prepare for, and it's very hard to do anything with if you've done no preparation. This basically leaves the protagonist, in this case Yuno and Langris, in a dire situation because they're going to get attacked by the bone magic and they can't use magic to defend. To which Yuno essentially summons Bell, and Bell's obviously annoyed with what Zenon did to Yuno, says a few words to him, calls him a few names. I will not repeat them, try to keep it PG. And then we see the new form of what Yuno is capable of. It's a full spirit dive. It's called the Spirit of Boreas, and it's powerful. Very powerful, because what it effectively does is it dominates the space that Zenon was previously dominating. So because I always felt that this technique that he was using based on the explanation seemed like a power based move, a kind of forced move, someone with greater levels of mana or force generated by mana could fight in that space, and having the stored mana from the Spirit Bell, the Sylph, this makes this actual feat a lot more probable, more possible. It's not something Langris could do. It is something with the help of Bell. We then see this form in action. We also see from Zenon's point of view that he's saying that he's being loved by mana, which makes sense because he's got Sylph's ability, who's one of the 4 elementals. He did resonate with the spirit of an elf before. He does have a 4-leaf clover, and he is from royalty. So all these different things together, it makes sense that Mana would love him in this space. And then he uses his new weapon, which is basically a halberd, or an axe spear combination weapon, to stab through Zenon's defense, kind of making it equal. So if you think back to the original fight, Zenon did that to him, and left him for dead, and it's kind of what Yuno has done to him, basically putting a hole through him and leaving him for dead. We get statements and proclamations as well. He says he's going to become the Sorcerer Emperor, the Wizard King. He hates to lose, and this essentially is what Langris also states. To confirm though, from what I've seen in this chapter, it purely looks like Zenon was using 55% of his power. So this is basically Yuno telling him 55% is not going to be enough, which hopefully would mean there's going to be another fight either straight away or down the line where he's going to use 80% and it's going to be a little bit more of a fight. What this doesn't show you though is the details of this. So for example, it's strange that Bell could just storm up mana for 2 or 3 days and all of a sudden now they're next level powerful. There has to be some type of give and take. There has to be a limit to this. So I think what's probably going to happen is there's going to be a limit because of how much mana is expanded to do a countering of this technique, and it's going to be one of those things where basically once the form is used, it's going to take some time for Bell to be able to generate that power or store that power again for it to be used to a great extent. The more time she has, the more powerful she'll become, but then at the same time, the stronger Yuno's body needs to be to be able to withhold that. I also find it funny or coincidental that he's got a full form now, full-time form, as Asta is developing a full, a unite form with his demon, Libe. It's kind of like they're basically being brought up at the same time, kind of a Sasuke Naruto situation here, where he's got half form, he's got half form, he's got full form, he's got full form, and they're kind of being elevated as they go through the story like that. With that being said, that's pretty much the chapter. We don't hear about anything else going on. So is it going to be a case now that we're going to see Vanica and Dante, or is it going to be a case that we'll get the swerve and, oh yeah, I'm fine, I lied, I'm 80% now. We'll have to wait and see. Based on what I'm thinking is going to happen, we may have a break next week or early releases because of Christmas and everything else. As and when I find out the chapters out, I will review it. So please be patient. As always, like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.